How long has it been since you've seen your kids?
About 10 years.
So you haven't spoken to or seen either child in 10 years?
Yeah, and I don't even know where they are.
I might be a total here with what I'm going to say, but it sounds like, dude, you don't care about your kids. You care about not paying $100,000 in child support back pay, just to be real with you.
Randy Marsh, that is a fake name, but you're a real person. You're having some problems in a divorce and some legal issues around it. Is that right?
Yes, I am. I guess from the beginning, when my ex filed for divorce, started when she asked me to drive into town and do a chore for her, and I told her no, and she slapped me. And then she called the cops, and the cops took me away. And
Guys, hold up. Let's back up. She asked you to do a chore.
To drive into town to do a chore.
What was the chore?
We had just gotten a phone line, a hardwired line to our rental house.
Okay.
And she wanted me to go into town so that I could use the internet to give her mom our new phone number. And she knew.
Could you not call the mom?
You don't have a phone?
I'm sorry?
You live in a remote area?
No. We had just moved there, and we're low income.
Okay.
The only income we had was hers, which was around, I think, $800 a month. And so we were living in subsidized housing, a rental, but it was subsidized Section 8 housing.
This is a random question, but you don't own 2 pit bulls, do you?
No.
Okay, all right.
No.
I just
checking.
Sorry.
No. And she knew that I suffered chronic pain, and it was a really bright, sunny day. I had already have a headache. The bright sun would make my headache worse, so I can't do it right now. She already knew this. We'd been together for 10 years.
Okay. And did you work during that 10 years, or she was the only one working?
I had worked off and on, and then we'd gotten married, and it's like we can't do the off and on working. So I was trying to get my disability, which I do have now, but didn't have it at that time.
And you guys had kids together?
Yes, we do.
How many?
2.
Okay. So she gets angry at you. She hits you.
It's a slap, but yeah. And I wasn't facing her, so I didn't see it coming.
So
now,
she
was
backslapped
it a slap like
Coward.
this? Here, Bill, come here, lean in.
Yeah.
Was it? Oh, he can't see us.
No.
No.
Okay.
Was it a slap like?
It sounds like she came from the back.
Yeah. Was it more of a backhand or a front hand?
We were sitting side by side on a couch. She just, most of the time your hands are up on the top of the back of the couch, so she just reaches back and gives me a whack.
Randy, I got a follow-up question for you. I want you to take me on a journey to this couch. All right, I want to live in the moment with you. She says, "My sweet baby, will you please go into town for me? I need you to send an immediate email to my mother to give us our new phone number." She asks that question. Is that fact so far?
It wasn't quite so sweet, but it
Okay.
wasn't mean either.
Too sweet, Derek.
But,
You're too
okay,
sweet.
I was trying to. She sounds like a sweet woman, other than the
Okay.
divorce and the
Randy,
hitting
I
and
need
stuff.
you to go into town to email my mom.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's it.
and you just said no, and she fucking hit you. There was no other words.
No. Let me act it out.
Oh, yeah,
No,
okay.
He said, "No, baby doll, I have chronic pain that you've known about in the decade we've been together, and the bright lights."
Randy, shut the fuck up, you poor. Get out of this house and go email my mom.
I have the chronic pain and the sunlight. Ah!
That's how it happened, Randy?
Yeah.
Wow. Sounds like you dodged a bullet. What's the problem?
Now, hold on. Okay, so she slapped you. You
Well,
know what?
We'll get to the problem later, though.
Let's use better language. She assaulted you. Let's not, because look, if it was the other way around, right? We would be. Okay, so she assaulted you. Who calls the cops?
She does.
Saying that you hit her?
Yeah.
Okay, Randy, you're anonymous. I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Did you hit that woman?
I did not hit her. My feet were elevated, and my foot twitched sideways.
You're fucking full of shit.
I believe him.
No,
I
I'm not
believe
sure.
him.
No.
Your feet
No,
were
I'm
on
not.
the coffee table.
Her own testimony says that I kicked her elbow. Now she's slapping me with her arm that's across her body, right?
Oh, we're gonna have to break this
So if
down.
I-
We're gonna after the call's over, we're gonna have to break this
Yeah,
down on the
this is-
couch.
we
the
can get some
physics
depth
of
here.
this.
So if I kicked her, why didn't I kick her breast? I kicked her.
Kick a titty. That's a strange direction to go, Randy.
You know, look, the guy is disabled. All right? I don't believe for a second
wait.
that this assaultress got kicked in the elbow.
Randy, so your
We're
defense.
sitting next to each other on the couch. Try kicking somebody without getting up.
We're gonna do it in a minute, but Randy, is your legal defense? If I did not kick, you must have quit.
No. We're forgetting he just got slapped. Okay, hold on. We're getting too far into the hanky panky. Let's go past the assault.
Okay,
Now
look,
she calls the cops.
neither
Do you get arrested?
neither one of us, neither one of those contracts I would classify as criminal assault. It just so happened it happens inside a domestic residence.
No.
between
When you
two
slap
lovers,
someone, that is a
okay?
criminal assault. It might not be taken seriously, but that is a criminal. That's the definition.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the definition.
that's
But okay,
domestic violence.
hold on. So the cops are there, and then what?
And somebody has to stay with the kids, so they take me away, of course.
They
and
arrested
not
you.
The person that started it.
They arrested you.
Yeah.
What'd they charge you with? Tick kick.
No, he didn't. He should have done the tick
thing
kick.
is, as you know, they have 72 hours to file charges. They let me go.
So they did not. They just detained you. They did not arrest you. Okay.
What they said was not enough evidence to file charges. Is what they said.
Got it.
So then what happens? Someone goes straight to the courthouse, or what?
While I was in jail, she filed for a restraining order, and she even admits everything that I just told you. I've got the paperwork and everything. She says I slapped him because he told me no in her request for a restraining order.
Okay.
Wow.
I so far I believe almost every. I believe you. I found what you're saying believable right now. Let's move past this. So she files for divorce.
This happened in California, so if that tells you anything.
It does help.
Okay, yeah.
So it does for real.
Yeah.
No, different states have
Yeah.
different court systems. So she files for divorce.
Yes.
When?
Yes.
When did she do that?
Soon after the restraining order. It wasn't exactly at the same time, but it was
And this
within
was 10
weeks
years
to
ago?
1 or 2
How
months.
long ago in the past did she file for divorce?
In the past from right now?
Yes.
What time?
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, just do you remember the date of filing, plus or minus a
I
couple
remember
days?
the date of the initial incident was 5/25/2011.
There we go. Okay. Wow. So
You've been
14
going through a divorce for 14 fucking years?
Yeah.
Okay. So is the divorce final now?
Yes.
Okay. What is the legal issue you want to talk about today?
So California Family Law Code 1033 says whoever initiates domestic violence gets supervised visitation of the kids. The statute says it is a rebuttable presumption, which I don't speak legalese, but I take that to mean it's a default ruling that can be argued against.
That's
Is
correct.
that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, there was no argument. The judge just gave us shared custody. Hers was the primary residence, which she assumed that she had full and total control over this because she never gave me my visitations. I shouldn't say never, but every time she had a problem, and it just kept escalating and escalating to where she just did stop showing up and said, "I don't feel comfortable."
Okay. How old are the
That was
children?
good
How
too.
old are the children now?
The oldest one is now an adult. The youngest one is 16 but has autism, is nonverbal.
What are you looking to happen here?
There we go. Yeah.
The fact that Family Law Code 1033 establishes a certain custody, the child support I have never paid due to principle of the fact that I should have had custody of the children.
Okay. We're getting somewhere. So you never paid child
So-
support.
And she's
If-
trying to collect on
If
you?
How much do you owe in child support right now?
well over $100,000.
Okay.
What can I go back to?
Wow.
What are you looking for help for? Right?
That's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get to it. That's what I was doing the analysis. I think I figured it out, but
If I could give him a head start, he probably wants to get out of paying $100,000 in child
That's
support.
at
Is
least
that right,
part-
Randy?
At least part
Maybe.
of it.
Randy, what are you looking for today?
Yeah.
What are you trying to
Yeah.
evaluate?
Yes.
You don't want the judgment of
Absolutely.
100K of child support. Is there anything else going on, or is that the mission?
Besides reducing the child support obligation, what else do you want?
Well, just to fix the whole issue. I mean, from day one, they haven't applied the law constitutionally.
But if they
accurate.
applied the law, it's not going to take the time back.
Yeah.
So the only things that you can either do right now are try and get custody of the one child who's not yet an adult. So you want to change the custody situation, or you want to change the current payment or past due payment situation to eliminate a current debt or an ongoing obligation. The other third option is you just want to hurt her.
No.
Is there something else beyond that that you think that you want, or that you think the law entitles you to, that you're trying to ask about?
No, just fairness is all. That's
Okay.
it.
I'm gonna say one quick thing. Before I got into the law, my dad is not a lawyer, but he goes, I've always heard something about the legal system is that it's a court of laws, not a court of justice. If you want justice, hire a hitman. And then I've amended that since becoming a lawyer to say, and I will fucking deny that I ever said that to you. Okay.
Randy, thanks for coming on, buddy. Get everything you need.
Yeah, okay. All right, head down to your local Walmart. No, But the point is,
We're
is
gonna
I
get
will
you a
tell
local licensed hitman that can help you
Yeah.
finish this situation. No,
fairness
no.
fairness is a thing of morality and of universal justice that the legal system tries to create but does often fails to do. And while it is certainly the best system in the world and maybe even this side of Mars, it is a system full of flaws. However, I will say, what did you do after this order came down to appeal it or otherwise challenge it? Did you hire a lawyer to do an appeal, to question the judgment at the time?
I'm low income. I can barely afford to pay all of my bills and eat.
And
So no.
and I'm not judging you for that, because you find yourself in the situation that a lot of people do who are on the right side of morality or even the right side of the law, like you've described here with who was the domestic violence perpetrator and who wasn't, but fall short because the system requires you to have someone with more training than your income can afford. And that's a terrible fucking situation. That all being said, what I'm hearing at a very high level is it might be too little too late. There may be an ability to challenge future obligations based on what the actual income was or the circumstances, but oftentimes if you had an opportunity early on, and this isn't fair, there's nothing fucking fair about what I'm saying right now, but it's most likely the practical truth, which is that money spent to redo something from 10 years ago isn't going to practically or legally work. Josh, counterpoint.
Caller, do I have permission to
Normally.
just can I just straight shoot you, brother?
Yes.
I was gonna do it either way, so I'm glad you said that. Okay, look, this is a horrible situation, but you got one kid that is now grown. That kid was raised without child support.
Yeah.
You got another kid that is autistic, nonverbal, with a couple years left, maybe longer because of the difficulties. That kid was raised without child support. Separate from that, both of those things I just said suck. Separate from that, you were denied the type of time and attention that you wanted to have with these kids, right?
Yeah.
That sucks. All three of those things that I've just said have already been done. So now we're sitting here and we're looking at this situation and we're going, okay, well, what can we really do for you? I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is if you owe the bank $1,000, you got a problem. But if you owe the bank $10 million, the bank's got a problem. And I feel like in a lot of ways with your situation, the same thing that's going to make it hard for you to fight this, the same thing that's going to make it hard for you to get custody is also like, if you don't work and you haven't worked off and on for the majority of 10 years, how are they ever going to collect this child support? So it's like, yeah, I don't know how you're going to be able to fight it, but I guess I got bad news for you legally, which is like, I don't see anything that you've said so far that would be able to negate that. And the child's have been raised. Like the time to do this was in the past.
I mean, here's the other practical part, and why even we'll send you some resources about local, legal aid type circumstances that can help you, or local volunteer attorney programs that can help you through this. And the reason is because there might be some specific part of your case that will at least allow you to not have to have an obligation going forward. And there may be some ability to dispute the earlier debts. But maybe more practically speaking is, I mean, as I understand it from the show notes, that you've been ordered to pay the child support and you haven't paid it based on the principal and also based on your income situation. But practically, if she's not coming after you for it and taking, affirmative action to come do it, nothing may end up happening. So there's a little bit of risk of like getting a lawyer and going down there. Yes, maybe you can undo it. It might also run into a situation where the judge goes, all right, that guy hasn't paid, you pay in 30 days or you're going to county. And that's, we're really getting into this constitutional debtor's prison situation. But if all the states that are more willing to do that, it's definitely California.
How long has it been since you've seen your kids?
About 10 years.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Wow.
When's the last time?
And I don't even know where they are.
Yeah, Randy, quick question. So you got a divorce 10 years ago. Do you still live in California?
Yeah.
How far away did you live from your kids?
Roughly an hour.
Okay. And I know from an income perspective, you obviously didn't have money for an attorney, but did you ever try to file with the courts on your own about the visitation? Because I mean, from a divorce perspective, you had the legal right to visitation with your child. What did you do at the beginning to see the kids?
I did actually file for contempt of court orders against my ex, and the judge that I filed him with accepted the paperwork, but when we got to the judge that was going to oversee the case, I didn't write down the exact dates of the times that she missed. So they threw the case out because she can't defend herself when she doesn't know the specifics.
Did you refile?
No,
Okay. And how old's your oldest?
18.
Oh, 18. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming that, and that one's not autistic, like that verbal or whatever, can communicate.
Yes.
I'm assuming
Correct.
they have a
You're
cell
correct.
phone. So you haven't spoken to or seen either child in 10 years?
Yeah, and I don't even know where they are.
Yeah.
She moved away. She moved away, and the court order said that she had to provide me an address, and she hasn't done that.
Yeah, I might be a total fucking here with what I'm going to say, but it sounds like, dude, you don't care about your kids. You care about not paying $100,000 in child support back pay, just to be real with you. I have 3 kids. One of them has a mom that hasn't seen him in a decade, and I can count on fucking 2 fingers the amount of time she's tried to contact him. That was the reason I asked you, is like, in 10 years, you filed 1 court order, and it ended up you made a clerical mistake, and you fucking never did it again? It sounds bullshit, dude. It sounds like you just don't want to pay $100,000.
That's not accurate, no.
No, then how do you justify trying once to see your kids over 10 years? Yeah, volumes.
the
baby.
fact-
I think
the filing was so
I'll jump in.
easily
I'll jump in.
dismissed.
I'll jump in. These are everyone's got feelings about this issue, okay? And they're all real, okay? Caller,
All right.
I want you, I'm going to encourage you to, there's a couple different websites that you can use for free, like People Finder, People Tree, People Family Tree is one of them. If you Google that, and you could put the name of your kid in, and there may be a cell phone or a landline associated with that. I think you should make an effort to try to find your now adult daughter and start a conversation with her. I think you should also make an effort to file something or show some effort with the courts. And what I would encourage you to do is do those 2 things and show that you're doing what you can here to make an effort, and reach back out to the show. And we would like to follow you. We would like to update you, because just because somebody's made a mistake or just because somebody didn't think of something, that doesn't mean you throw away the key. Whether you've been the best dad or an absent dad or a bad dad, you always have the opportunity to change that. And if you're trying to do the right thing, we want to work with you. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. So I appreciate you calling on the show today. Bill, did you want to say something
I
else?
just have one last thing. I don't want you to dismiss Deric's question. That was very harsh, because it's those kinds of tough questions you're going to have to answer no matter which way you go on this.
You better hear from a podcast than a judge.
Yeah,
right?
you're gonna-
Because a judge is going to say it, and you only get one chance in the courtroom.
Right. And you don't want, that won't be a clerical error that you can fix again. But if you're serious about turning it around, you got to be serious with yourself about what are your real goals here. Whatever those may be, that's yours. That's fine. But these are the hard questions that will have to get answered at some point. And maybe it just starts with, making a simple filing to get the address. The court will more likely not have the ability to do that. And at the end of the day, this is going to be, trust is lost in an instant, but it's rebuilt over time. And you demonstrating what your goals are and what you're real hard on in this, the best time was 10 years ago. The next best time is today. Right. Start that track record now. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a great day.
You too, thanks.
Fuck that guy.
Dude, that was the hard question. Like, he was not demonstrating the kinds of things, and maybe he's going to turn it around, but I didn't
He doesn't
feel
want to pay
that way.
that fucking money.
I
That's
didn't
all
feel
that
it turned
guy
around
is.
in the call, and he's got to go home tonight and think about that,
Yeah.
He was going around in circles. It was hard for me to understand what he was trying to really get at. What I heard was basically what he said. He said it perfectly. Just didn't seem like he
I think
wanted
the
to see his
reason it was
kids, and he
difficult to
just-
understand is because the simple truth was, I'm a piece of shit dad, and I don't want to pay all my old child support.
Yeah.
And just,
Yeah. So it's hard. One of us at least needs to play good cop.
oh
every
no,
time.
I thought you came in wonderfully with how you.
But it wasn't necessarily how I feel. Because I was asking questions like, dude, just give me anything other than you just want to pay less money. Like, give me.
Yeah.
I was like, just
You were trying. You were late.
Give
You
me
were putting
something.
the ball on the tee,
Give
and he
me
was like,
something.
basketball.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the thing, man. Even if he does actually want to reconcile with his kid, they're gonna fucking talk to that piece of shit.
Probably
Because he'd be
not.
like, "Oh, your fucking mom kept you from me." It's like, I have a fucking cell phone, bitch.
And the real
know?
way to fix that is to own it up, right?
Yeah.
And to own it up, like a judge is gonna ask the same question you asked.
Well, dude, deadass, it's very personal, like somewhat to me. Like my
Yeah.
15-year-old son has a mom that no effort, dude. Like only texts him every now and then, and I've called her out on it before, and it's just all excuses. It's never like I fucked up. It's always like, oh well, I don't have a lot of money. It's like you can't make a phone call. I'm busy 24/7, bitch. You can't make one phone call a week.
10 years.
Over, yeah,
In 10
dude, a
years in this one.
decade.
And here's the thing too, right? And it doesn't matter if it's California, Texas, anywhere in the U.S. Okay, the courts put the child first.
Yes.
Is there a preference for the mother? Usually.
Yeah.
There's usually a preference. There's usually a bias towards the mother. But way beyond that, the court puts the child first. And so when you go into court, and I still want him to do the right thing. I still want him to get his shit together. But when you go into the court and you're like, yeah, I haven't seen these kids or talked to these kids or paid anything in 10 years, they're going to be like, well, you're fucking the kid, regardless of whether
Yeah.
it should be 50-50 or 60-40. Like,
And that was
the
a great
kid
point
comes
that you raised.
first.
You're like, your 18-year-old was raised without support. Yeah, I thought that was a fucking bullet, dude, because it's true.
And he's going to have to answer all those questions, right?
He's not going to do anything.
He's not. Of course not. But here's the other part of it is like, he's going to, if it ends up that his heart is really not into it, like I think we all suspect based on this call, right? At the end
And
of
you
the day,
hope you're wrong, but that is
you
how
hope
it
you're wrong.
sounds. That's
But
how it
at the end of the day, if the hard questions are something he's going to avoid, then guess what he's going to do? He's going to keep doing the exact same thing he's doing right now, and the mom and the kids won't have to fuck with dealing with him in court.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's ask the hard questions now, which is what a good attorney will do. A good attorney will ask those hard questions now, so you don't get caught flat-footed in front of the judge, whether you have a lawyer or not. So it's good. It's important to know those things. Know your own
There was
heart.
a lot of context missing. Yeah, my wife slapped me one time kind of slightly on the back of the head, and then we divorced. And I haven't talked to my kids in 10 years. It's like, what?
Right.
I do want to try to figure out the logistics of how that slap to the tick kick happened. But
Yeah, he
we'll
said
do it
he was
after.
sitting with his feet
We're
up.
gonna do it.
Feet
but
up, arms back like this. Oh, in the white room.
Disabled gymnast.
We have one more caller in
Let's
the
do it.
waiting room. We're gonna get through them. This is hardly legal. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're gonna be here for you when you need that cheap date.